There is one piece of knowledge about women so dangerously effective that the man who possesses it will never lose another relationship, never get blindsided by another rejection, never sit in another 2 a.m. silence, wondering what went wrong and why she stopped looking at him the way she used to. Machiavelli wrote about the one thing that governs dating, politics, war, friendship, loyalty, betrayal, and every other human interaction that has ever mattered. He wrote about what makes people choose one person over another. And his answer, his single, devastating 5-century-old answer, is what I'm handing you today. By the end of this, you will understand women at a depth that most men don't reach in a lifetime. Not because you're smarter than them, because you were willing to listen to a dead man who told the truth when everyone around him was lying. Part 1. The one thing that governs everything. Let me strip away the suspense and give it to you clean. Then I'll spend the rest of this conversation proving it to you so thoroughly that you'll never doubt it again. The one thing men need to know about women, the thing that once understood makes losing nearly impossible, is this. Women don't follow what you say. Women don't follow what you do. Women follow what you believe about yourself, not your stated beliefs, not your affirmations, not the confidence you project during good moments or the bravery you perform when people are watching. Your actual, cellular-level, marrow-deep conviction about your own value as a man. That conviction, or its absence, is leaking out of you in every interaction, through your voice, your posture, your timing, your decisions, the way you hold eye contact or break it, the way you respond to pressure or crumble under it, the way you treat yourself when nobody's watching, which somehow, impossibly, she always seems to know about. Machiavelli arrived at this principle through decades of observing political leaders, and his formulation of it, while dressed in the language of Renaissance statecraft, is the most precise description of interpersonal influence ever written. In Chapter 6 of The Prince, he separates leaders into 2 categories: those who came to power through their own virtue, their own internal force, and those who came to power through fortune, through luck, through the support of others. And he observes something that every man alive needs to hear. The leaders who rose through their own force held power for decades. The leaders who rose through external support collapsed the moment that support was withdrawn. The first group believed in their own legitimacy because they had built it with their own hands. That belief radiated outward and commanded loyalty from everyone around them. The second group's legitimacy was borrowed, and borrowed legitimacy has an expiration date that others can always sense. Now translate this into your life. The man whose self-belief is built on his own foundations, on his own accomplishments, his own growth, his own hard-won knowledge of who he is, that man walks into every room with an authority that isn't performing. It simply is. And women respond to it the way citizens respond to a legitimate ruler, with natural, unforced, almost involuntary allegiance. The man whose self-belief is built on external support, on her validation, on social approval, on job titles and bank balances and the opinions of others, that man is Machiavelli's fortune-dependent prince. He looks like a leader. He acts like a leader, but his authority is borrowed. And the moment the external support wavers, the moment she pulls back, the moment the job is lost or the social approval fades, his entire sense of self collapses, and she watches it happen. And she can never unsee it. This is the knowledge that makes men invincible, not a technique, not a strategy. The understanding that your self-belief must be built on bedrock you poured yourself, not on sand someone else provided. And the rest of this conversation is about how to build that bedrock so solid that nothing, no rejection, no failure, no loss, no woman's opinion can crack it. Part 2. Why most men's self-belief is counterfeit. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men walking around with confidence are carrying counterfeit currency. It looks real. It spends real. It fools most people in most situations, but it has no backing, no reserves, no foundation underneath it. And the moment it's tested, really tested, it collapses into dust. Machiavelli would diagnose this instantly. He wrote about fortresses in chapter 20 of The Prince, asking whether they help or harm a ruler. His conclusion is nuanced but devastating. A fortress helps the prince who has already secured the loyalty of his people. It harms the prince who has not, because the fortress gives him the illusion of safety, while the real threat, internal rebellion, grows unchecked behind the walls. Most men build psychological fortresses. They construct an image, a persona, a version of themselves designed to look confident, capable, secure. They build it out of gym sessions and nice clothes and rehearsed jokes and surface-level accomplishments. And from behind those walls, they feel safe. But the walls aren't protecting them from the real threat. The real threat isn't external, it's internal. It's the unexamined belief, buried so deep they might not even know it's there, that they are not enough. That without the gym body, without the nice car, without the impressive job, without her approval, they are fundamentally inadequate. This belief is the termite in the foundation. You can't see it. You can't hear it. But it's eating through the structure every single day. And the man carrying this belief, no matter how impressive his fortress looks from the outside, will eventually be exposed. Because life has a way of testing foundations, and women have a way of finding termites. She finds them through the tests we've discussed before. The small provocations, the subtle withdrawals, the moments where she applies just enough pressure to see what's underneath the surface. And if what's underneath is an unexamined belief in your own inadequacy, she'll feel it, not see it. Feel it. In the way your energy shifts when she doesn't text back. In the way your mood changes when she mentions another man. In the way your entire evening can be ruined by a single comment she made without thinking. These responses don't say, "I'm confident." They say, "My confidence depends on you." And confidence that depends on her is not confidence, it's a loan. And loans get called in at the worst possible time. Machiavelli's solution was not better fortresses, it was better foundations. A prince whose power comes from within, from genuine capability, from earned respect, from the deep knowledge that he can handle whatever comes, doesn't need walls. Because there's nothing inside him that needs protecting from the outside. The same is true for you. The solution to counterfeit confidence isn't better performance. It's genuine self-construction. Building from the inside out until the man you present to the world and the man you actually are become the same person. And when that happens, something magical occurs. The tests stop. Not because she stops testing, because the tests no longer reveal weakness, they reveal solidity. And once she's tested you enough times and found solidity every time, her testing mechanism shuts off. It's no longer needed. The evaluation is complete. The verdict is in. He's real. And a woman who has decided a man is real gives him something she gives no one else. Total, unconditional, unguarded trust. The kind of trust that doesn't waver during arguments, doesn't waver during distance, doesn't waver during the hard seasons that every relationship must endure. That trust is the prize. And it only goes to the man whose self-belief is genuine. Part 3. The 3 pillars of unshakable self-belief. So, how do you build the real thing? How do you pour a foundation so solid that no test can crack it and no storm can shift it? Machiavelli's work, when synthesized across The Prince, the discourses, and his personal letters, reveals 3 pillars that every enduring source of power rests on. And these three pillars translate directly into the personal self-belief that makes a man invincible with women. Pillar 1. Earned competence. Machiavelli had contempt for inherited power. He respected only power that was built, earned, won through struggle, and sustained through discipline. And the reason is practical, not moral. Earned power comes with a byproduct that inherited power never provides. Knowledge of your own capability. When you build something from nothing, when you master a skill through years of practice, when you face a challenge that terrifies you and you come out the other side intact, you deposit something into your psychological account that no one can withdraw. Not her, not your boss, not the universe. An unshakable memory of your own effectiveness. Most men skip this step. They want the confidence without the competence. They want to feel like a man who can handle anything without actually having handled anything. And the gap between feeling capable and being capable is the gap where self-belief collapses under pressure. Build real skills, not for the resume, for the foundation. Learn to fix things. Learn to build things. Learn to navigate situations that most men would delegate or avoid. Every problem you solve with your own hands adds a brick to the wall of genuine self-belief. And eventually, that wall is so high and so thick that her opinion of you, positive or negative, barely registers as relevant. Not because you don't care about her, because your sense of self is no longer dependent on her assessment. Pillar 2. Tested resilience. Machiavelli was fascinated by adversity, not because he romanticized suffering, because he observed that adversity was the only reliable forge for durable character. The leaders who had never been tested were always the first to break. The leaders who had been through hell and survived governed with a calm authority that no amount of peacetime preparation could replicate. Your resilience needs testing. Real testing. Not the comfortable kind of challenge where failure has no consequences, the kind where you might actually lose something, where the outcome is uncertain and the stakes are real. This could mean starting a business that might fail, having a conversation you've been avoiding for months, setting a boundary with someone who might walk away because of it, pursuing a goal so ambitious that most people would call it unrealistic. Each time you face a real test and survive it, your psychological immune system strengthens. You develop what Machiavelli would call fortune resistance, the ability to absorb bad luck, bad timing, and bad outcomes without losing your sense of direction. And a man with fortune resistance is a man who cannot be destabilized by a woman's behavior, not because he's numb, because he's been through worse. Her cold shoulder doesn't register as a crisis to a man who's survived actual crises. Her silence doesn't trigger panic in a man who sat with real uncertainty and found himself still standing on the other side. That perspective, earned through tested resilience, is the quiet superpower that separates the man she can shake from the man she can't. And the man she can't shake is the man she can't leave. Pillar 3. Philosophical grounding. This is the pillar most men neglect entirely, and it's the one Machiavelli considered most important. Machiavelli was, before anything else, a thinker, a reader. A man who spent his evenings in conversation with the great minds of antiquity, as he describes in his famous letter to Francesco Vettori. He put on his formal robes, entered his study, and engaged with Plutarch, Livy, Tacitus, the minds that shaped civilizations. And from that engagement, he developed something that no amount of gym time or career success can provide: a framework for understanding the world. Most men don't have one. They react to events rather than interpreting them. They experience emotion without understanding it. They encounter setbacks without contextualizing them. They live inside a story they never consciously wrote, governed by assumptions they never examined, driven by values they inherited rather than chose. A man with a philosophical grounding, a man who has thought deeply about what he believes, what he values, what kind of life he's building, and why. That man occupies his existence differently. His opinions are anchored. His decisions are principled. His responses to adversity are filtered through a framework that provides meaning, even when circumstances provide none. And women feel this grounding the way you feel the difference between standing on concrete and standing on a waterbed. One is stable, the other shifts with every movement. And a man whose entire worldview shifts based on the last thing he heard, the last emotion he felt, the last argument he had, is a man standing on a waterbed. She can feel the instability. And instability, no matter how well disguised, is the death of attraction. Read, think, develop opinions through rigorous examination rather than casual absorption. Build a philosophy of life that you could articulate under pressure. Know what you stand for, know why you stand for it, and stand for it consistently, even when standing alone. That consistency of thought is the third pillar. And a man standing on all three, earned competence, tested resilience, and philosophical grounding, is a man whose self-belief isn't counterfeit, it's gold. And gold holds its value in every market, in every climate, in every economy, including the economy of attraction. Part 4. How genuine self-belief changes her behavior. Now, let me show you what happens on her end when you've built the real thing. Because the effects are so dramatic, so visible, so immediate, that you'll wonder how you ever lived without them. Effect 1. The testing stops escalating. She'll still test. That's wired in, and it doesn't turn off entirely. But the nature of the tests changes. When your self-belief is genuine, her tests stop being probes for weakness and start being confirmations of strength. She pushes not to find your breaking point, but to reassure herself that you don't have one. And every time you hold, every time the push meets solid ground, her nervous system relaxes a little more. The tests become softer, less frequent, more playful. Because she's no longer evaluating whether you're real, she's celebrating that you are. Machiavelli observed this exact pattern in political loyalty. Once a population decided their prince was legitimate, the challenges to his authority didn't increase. They decreased, not because he suppressed them, because the need for them evaporated. The people had found what they were looking for. The testing was complete. Effect 2. She invests without being asked. A woman who has decided you're real doesn't wait for you to initiate. She invests time, energy, attention, affection, not because you demanded it, not because you withdrew until she chased, because your genuine self-belief created an environment where investment feels safe. She knows her investment won't be wasted on a man who might collapse. She knows her vulnerability won't be exploited by a man who's too insecure to hold it. So she gives freely, naturally, without the calculation and withholding that characterize her interactions with men she doesn't fully trust. Machiavelli would recognize this as the difference between a prince who taxes his people and a prince whose people contribute willingly. One extracts through force, the other receives through earned legitimacy. The outcome might look similar on the surface. The sustainability is worlds apart. Effect 3. She becomes her best self around you. This is the most powerful effect and the one least understood. When your self-belief is genuine, when you're genuinely at home inside yourself, you create a psychological space where she can be genuinely at home inside herself. Your settledness is contagious. Your security becomes her permission to be insecure, to be messy, to be real, without fear that her realness will destabilize you. And a woman who feels permission to be fully herself around a man is a woman who bonds to that man at a depth that no surface-level attraction can reach, Machiavelli wrote. about this in the context of governance. The prince who is secure in his authority creates citizens who are secure in their lives. Security cascades downward. Insecurity cascades downward too. The nervous prince creates a nervous population. The settled prince creates a settled one. Your settledness creates her settledness. Your security creates her openness. Your genuine self-belief creates the conditions for the deepest, most authentic, most unshakable connection two people can have, not through strategy, through being real. Part 5. The 4 situations where men typically lose and how this knowledge prevents it. Let me get practical, because knowledge without application is just entertainment. And Machiavelli had no patience for entertainment. He demanded utility. Here are the 4 situations where men typically lose with women. And here's how the knowledge we've discussed transforms each one from a loss into a strengthening. Situation 1. She pulls away. The typical man panics, chases, floods her phone with attention, tries to close the distance through force of effort. And every ounce of that effort communicates the opposite of what he intends. It says, "Your absence is an emergency for me." It says, "My emotional stability requires your presence." It says, "Without you, I don't know who I am." The man with genuine self-belief responds differently. He notices the distance. He might feel it. He might not enjoy it. But his response comes from a settled center rather than a panicking periphery. He continues his life, his mission, his daily architecture of discipline and growth. He remains warm when she's present and complete when she's not. And his completeness, his refusal to be destabilized by her withdrawal, becomes the very thing that draws her back. Because she pulled away to see what would happen. And what happened was nothing. His world didn't collapse. His value didn't diminish. His life didn't pause. And the realization that his life functions perfectly without her participation is the most compelling argument for her to participate more, not less. Situation 2. She tests him during conflict. The typical man either folds to avoid further conflict or escalates to protect his ego. Both responses come from the same place. Insecurity. The folder is afraid of losing her. The escalator is afraid of being disrespected. Both are reacting to her behavior rather than responding from their own center. The man with genuine self-belief holds his position calmly. He doesn't need to win the argument. He doesn't need to appease her. He speaks his truth without aggression and listens to hers without surrender. His energy says, "I hear you, I respect your perspective, and I still know where I stand." That energy transforms conflict from a threat into a bonding experience. Because she just watched a man disagree with her without crumbling, without attacking, without turning the disagreement into a referendum on the relationship. He held. And his holding communicated safety more effectively than 1,000 reassurances ever could. Situation 3. Another man enters the picture. The typical man gets jealous, insecure, passive-aggressive. He monitors her phone. He asks loaded questions. He subtly tries to diminish the other man. And every one of those behaviors communicates a devastating message. I believe this other man might be better than me, and I'm afraid you believe it too. The man with genuine self-belief doesn't flinch, not because he's naive, not because he doesn't care, because his self-assessment doesn't depend on the absence of competition. He knows his value, he knows what he brings, and he knows that a woman who would leave for someone else wasn't truly his to begin with. That acceptance, the genuine willingness to lose rather than compete from a place of fear, is so rare and so magnetic that it usually eliminates the competition entirely, because the man who doesn't compete is the man who appears to have no reason to. Situation 4. The relationship gets boring. This is where most long-term relationships die. The spark fades. The routine sets in. The novelty disappears. And the typical man either ignores it, hoping it'll fix itself, or tries to manufacture excitement through grand gestures that feel forced and artificial. The man with genuine self-belief never stops growing. His life has trajectory independent of the relationship. He's reading new things, thinking new thoughts, pursuing new challenges, becoming a slightly different man this month than he was last month. And that continuous evolution means the woman beside him is always discovering something new, not because he's performing novelty, because he's genuinely evolving. Machiavelli wrote that the prince who adapts to changing times never falls from power. The same principle governs long-term attraction. A man who grows never becomes predictable, and a man who never becomes predictable never becomes boring. And a man who never becomes boring never loses. Part 6. The knowledge that makes losing impossible. Let me tie this together with the precision Machiavelli would demand. The knowledge that makes losing impossible isn't a technique you deploy. It's a transformation you undergo.